Hello, hello. Throughout the month of February, I wrote a drabble every single day. This was a personal experiment and challenge, and I really wanted to share some of my favorite drabbles that I wrote during the month with you. If you're new here, my name is Dana, and I write unapologetically honest stories with real characters. And today we're reading some drabbles. I picked out what are maybe my 5 favorite. It was really hard to choose. Some of them are really good, some of them are mediocre. Most of them are mediocre. But I had, I think, 8 that I absolutely love, and then I had to narrow it down to 5, and that was really hard. Of these 5, I believe only the last one is more than 100 words. The rest of these I was able to get to exactly 100 words. The first drabble that I'm reading was from day 5. The prompts were rolled up sleeves and spider webs. This idea basically started as nothing, but when I started writing it, it just naturally connected to a very, very loose story idea that I have, which is basically just, I really want to write a dark academia, childhood friends to lovers type of story. I don't have any plot, I don't have any real, character ideas aside from a general dynamic between the two characters. So when I wrote this, it just immediately fit in with the character dynamics that I want for them. This is also one that I wrote on a live stream, so if you were at the day 5 live stream, then you've already heard this. But yeah, let's do it. You traipse through the trees, commanding the branches part for your wiry frame, and I follow. Leaves and twigs pull our clothes and scratch our skin. Your forearms, unprotected by rolled-up sleeves, are quickly covered in scrapes, but you press onward. Spiderwebs cling to our hair and tickle my neck, but where you go, I follow. We quieten our breath to match the gentle hum of the woods, summer cicadas crying in distant rounds, and you march farther ahead with each stride. The distance between us increases, the shadows of the forest stretching and deepening, and slowly, deliberately, I follow. It's just this moment of quiet dedication that is very important if you're writing a friends to lovers type of thing. Obviously, romance would not be the primary genre of this, but I'm also such a romantic, so these moments are always my favorite parts. But I also want something deeper going on, and I don't know what that is for this yet. Just the quiet dedication, it makes my heart ache. This next one is from day 17 for the prompt smeared lip gloss. Most of these I did not go into with a plan or an idea. I just started writing and it usually morphed into something, which was very fascinating to experience. This one, as soon as I started writing, I knew that it was for my sapphic vampire Chapel Roan inspired short story, which I basically premise as Red Wine Supernova, but it's vampires. So nothing gory or anything like that in here, but this is from the perspective of a vampire wanting to drink someone's blood. So, excitement slides through my cold veins at your ruby red lips. You're not like me, I know, but I wish you were. Then I could temper the urge to sink my teeth into your supple throat and swallow all you can give. Drinking from you is everything I want. Instead, I drink from your mouth. Your lip gloss isn't blood, but your mouth is soft, moist, delicious, and you eagerly reciprocate. Afterward, when I withdraw, when you meet my gaze with glassy eyes and parted lips, your perfect lip gloss is all over your mouth, and, I imagine, all over mine. It's honestly surprising that of all the 28 days, that was the only one where I wrote a kiss. It took me 17 days to write a kiss. That's crazy. The next drabble is for day 21 for the prompt, a split lip. This one was fun to write partially because I wrote the last line first. I just knew I wanted that specific punch, and then I had to go back in and do everything before that. If you've read my first book, this takes place like 3/4 of the way through it, during the time period where Billy is avoiding literally everyone except her dad. And this is from Xander's perspective, This is something she doesn't even know about until like 8 or 9 months later when he vaguely tells her something about it in book 2. The vaguest thing. She knows almost nothing about this. Because the books are only from her point of view, it's really fun to see what goes on during the times when she's just literally not there. She was avoiding Xander and Jimmy and Zane for at least 3 weeks. She did not interact with them at all. A lot can happen in 3 weeks. Let's read. Zane Nelson is outside when I take my smoke break, to-go box in hand, smug grin on his stupid face. I barely hesitate before calling after him. He's aggressive, coming at me with a self-satisfied smirk because he knows I have a bone to pick. He doesn't hesitate to gloat about you, what he did to you, doesn't think I'll take the bait. But he doesn't know me, he barely knows you, and he doesn't have the good sense to keep his thoughts to himself. Zane Nelson has a black eye and a split lip, and I have no regrets. These last 2 drabbles are connected to a short story idea that I've had for a while. The premise is basically what happens after superheroes or something of that nature save the world. I watch a lot of anime, I watch a lot of that type of thing, and so you get a bunch of shonen anime where it's literally children who are having to save the world, or stuff like Stranger Things, or, you know, a lot of young adult fantasy type of stuff where you are either a tween or a teen and you are forced into this position to basically be a child soldier in order to save the world. No one else can do it. You are the only one capable. But you also know that experience is going to be awful. It's going to be traumatic. The amount of shonen anime characters who you know have PTSD as adults, astronomical. So the premise of this short story is basically there are these 5 or 6 characters who were essentially fantastical child soldiers. I don't know whether they were superheroes or like something sci-fi or whatever. That doesn't really matter as far as the story is concerned. And as like 14-year-olds or something like that, they had to save the world. And now we are years later when they are adults and they are struggling. So this first one is from day 23 for the prompts a boarded up window and your usual coffee order. You ordered the same drink at the same coffee shop every morning. It's where we went on my final night, where you said you loved me, even though we were scared kids who couldn't do anything but keep fighting. Now it has a boarded up window from drunk teens playing superhero. Nothing but bitter black coffee is allowed past your lips. It's the same drink, but you tolerate it better now. It no longer makes your shoulders shudder or your mouth distort. You ordered the same drink at the same coffee shop and insist you never think about me at all. So what I realized while writing these different drabbles in this short story world is that the person telling the story, talking about all of the now grown-up kids, that person was one of them, and they died during the process. And this last one is from day 8 for the prompts an algae-covered fountain and bloodied knuckles. This is another one that I read on stream, so if you were at the day 8 stream, you have already heard this. Hopefully my reading's a little better this time, since it's not, on a live stream. And this is the only one of these that is over 100 words. This one is actually 148. You were special. You can do anything, beat anyone. With a small group of you and your friends, you organize a coup. You win the war. You topple a dictator. You have insurmountable strength and a way with words. And with just a small group, you wreak havoc. You form alliances and break bonds. And over time, you shave away all the parts of yourself that make you human, because they are necessary, even paramount, to winning this war. You do what needs to be done, and you save people. You save the world. Afterward, you're tired, and your knuckles are bloody, and your heart aches. The sacrifices were worth it, yes. But after the revolution comes the reconstruction, and considering how much you bled for everyone else's sake, you're not sure what you have left to give. You were special once. After the war, you were nothing. That one really hits me in the heart. It is physically, it hurts. But that one especially was one of those where I wrote it and I was like, oh crap, I'm a good writer. It's not often that I legitimately think that, but this Drabble makes me think that. These are not the only Drabbles I wrote that I'm legitimately proud of. I wrote quite a few that I really loved, and even the ones that I didn't love, I generally enjoyed most of them. I had a good experience writing most of them. Even the one on day 6 that I hated when I wrote it, I don't really hate anymore. It's not good, but I don't hate it. This challenge really helped me flex my writing muscles, especially when it comes to line editing. I am a bit out of practice with that because I haven't had to line edit one of my books in a while. Overall, though, there were a lot that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed sharing them with everyone. February's challenge might be over, but we are still in the Discord. We are figuring out what we're working on next. I talked about that more in my last video, which I haven't recorded yet. This Drabble challenge is not over. You're more than welcome to join us in the Discord and help us plan for future events and what we're doing from here onward, and instructions are in the description. Thank you for joining me for this little story time. I had a lot of fun reading these out loud. It is embarrassing and thrilling, but I really love these Drabbles. Most of them took me no more than half an hour to write, but a lot more emotionally. See you next time.